The elevator is climbing past 14 right now. The display reads 14, and then a number that shouldn't exist. I'm watching it happen in real time, standing in the service corridor on 12 with my manager Priya and two of our bellhops, and we can hear the cable humming in the shaft, and the number on the display above the elevator doors is not 15. It's not any number. It's a symbol I've seen exactly 3 times in the 4 years I've worked at the Varro, and every time I've seen it, someone on our staff has made a decision they couldn't take back. Hurricane Margot is 6 hours out. Category 3. The guests have been evacuated. We have not. I need to give you the full picture fast because things are moving and I don't know how much time we have before the floor finishes arriving. My name is Thea Kessler. I'm 30. I'm the assistant front desk manager at the Hotel Varro on Chartres Street in the French Quarter of New Orleans, which means I am the person who solves problems that the front desk staff can't solve and the general manager won't solve and the owners who live in Dallas don't know exist. I have a bachelor's degree in hospitality management from UNO that cost me $62,000 and earns me $47,000 a year, which in New Orleans in 2026 means I rent half a shotgun double in the Marigny with a roommate named Chelsea who bartends at the Spotted Cat and whose income I am fairly sure exceeds mine by about 30%. I am not the protagonist of this story. There isn't one. There are 7 of us in this hotel right now, and each of us knows something the others don't. And what happens tonight depends on which pieces of information reach which people at which time. I'm telling you what I can see from where I'm standing. The others would tell it differently. The 7, me. Priya Chakravarti, our night operations manager, who has been at the Varro for 11 years and knows more about this building than the walls do. Deshaun Myers and Kai Okafor, bellhops, both in their early 20s, both working tonight because the storm bonus is $400 and neither of them can afford to turn that down. Ruthie Arsenault, head of housekeeping, 63 years old, who grew up in Tremi and has weathered more hurricanes than the rest of us combined. Marco Restrepo, our maintenance engineer, who is somewhere on the 4th floor right now dealing with a generator issue and doesn't know the elevator is moving. And Len Worthy, our security guard, who is standing at the lobby doors watching the sky turn the color of a bruise and hasn't said a word in 20 minutes. We are all here for the same reason. The Varro's hurricane protocol requires a skeleton crew to remain on site during any Category 3 or higher storm to prevent looting, manage the building systems, and this is the part that isn't in the employee handbook. Follow the rules that Priya is about to hand out. The Hotel Varro is a 14-story building on the 400 block of Chartres Street. It was built in 1927 as the Hotel Varro by a family of the same name who made their money in sugar and cotton and lost most of it in ways that the historical placard in the lobby describes as the changing economic landscape of the 20th century, which is a polite way of saying they backed the wrong politicians and drank the profits. The building was sold in 1968. Converted to apartments, reconverted to a hotel in 2004, gutted by Katrina in 2005, rebuilt in 2009, and purchased by the current ownership group, Merit Hospitality Partners, out of Dallas in 2017. It is 14 stories tall. It has always been 14 stories tall. The blueprints say 14. The fire safety certification says 14. The elevator panel has buttons for L, 2 through 14, R for roof. But the elevator shaft goes higher than 14. If you stand on the roof and look at the mechanical housing above the elevator machinery, there's about 18 feet of shaft above the 14th floor that doesn't correspond to any floor. It's just empty space. Sealed concrete, no doors, no access, no reason to exist, except during hurricane warnings. When the National Hurricane Center issues a warning, not a watch, a warning for Orleans Parish, the Varro grows a floor. I know how that sounds. I'm watching the elevator display right now, so I don't care how it sounds. The symbol on the display is holding steady. Priya is pulling an envelope from the inside pocket of her blazer. It's a manila envelope, sealed, with a date written on it in blue pen. the date of the last hurricane warning, which was Hurricane Lyle in September 2024. Inside the envelope are the rules. The rules are updated after every hurricane by whoever held the envelope last, which was Priya, and the updates are handwritten additions to a typed core document that Priya says has been in the building since the 2009 reopening. She's opening the envelope now. Her hands are steady. Priya's hands are always steady. She is the most competent person I have ever met, and she is also, I have realized over 4 years, the most frightened. These two qualities in Priya are not in tension. They are the same quality. She is competent because she is frightened, and she is frightened because she is competent enough to understand what's coming. Everyone in the conference room, Priya says. Now, including Marco. Someone call Marco. The conference room is on the second floor. It's a bland corporate space with a long table and rolling chairs and a whiteboard and the particular soulless carpet that exists in every hotel conference room in America. By the time we're all seated, Marco arrived last, smelling like diesel from the generator. The wind outside has picked up enough that we can hear it through the windows, a low moan that sounds like the city is exhaling. Priya stands at the head of the table. She places the envelope on the surface. She removes a single sheet of paper, typed, with handwritten annotations in 3 different colors of ink, blue, black, and red. The red ink is Priya's. I recognize her handwriting. For those of you who've been through this before, Priya says, looking at me and Ruthie, some of this is review. For those who haven't, she looks at Deshaun and Kai. Listen to everything. Ask questions now, because once the floor is here, questions become dangerous. Deshaun shifts in his chair. He's 22, from Gentilly, studying engineering at Delgado part-time. He looks at Kai. Kai looks at the table. Kai is 24, from Houston, and has worked here for 5 months. Neither of them has been through a hurricane at the Varro. The Hotel Varro has 14 floors, Priya says. During a hurricane warning, a 15th floor appears. It is accessible only by the elevator, and only when the elevator is not called by anyone on floors 1 through 14. It operates on its own schedule. The floor exists for the duration of the warning and disappears when the warning is lifted. While it exists, it is occupied. Silence in the room. The wind pushes against the windows. Occupied by who? Kai asks. By guests, Priya says. They look like guests. They behave like guests. They are, by every functional measure, hotel guests. They have luggage, they have requests, they have complaints. They will call the front desk. They will request room service. They will ask for extra towels. She places the paper on the table and turns it so we can all read it. Hotel Varro, Hurricane Protocol, Floor 15. This document governs staff conduct during the manifestation of the 15th floor. All skeleton crew members must read and acknowledge these rules. Non-compliance endangers everyone in the building. 1. The 15th floor will become accessible within 2 hours of a hurricane warning being issued for Orleans Parish. The elevator display will show a symbol in place of a number. Do not attempt to interpret the symbol. It is not a number, and it is not for you. 2. Do not ride the elevator to the 15th floor. The elevator may stop there on its own. If you are in the elevator when it stops at 15, do not exit. Press the door close button immediately. If the doors do not close within 10 seconds, press any other floor button and keep pressing it. Do not look into the hallway. 3. The 15th floor guests will make requests via the house phone system. Their calls will come through on the front desk line. Answer all calls professionally and politely. Fulfill all reasonable requests. Towels, pillows, ice, room service. Leave requested items in the elevator. Press no floor button. The elevator will deliver them. 4. Do not enter the elevator with the items. Place them inside, step back, and allow the doors to close. If a guest comes to collect items personally appearing in the lobby, the hallways, or any common area, serve them normally. Do not stare. Do not refuse service. Do not comment on their appearance. 5. The guests will check out when the hurricane warning is lifted. They will leave through the lobby. They will settle their bills. The bills must be processed through the system normally. The charges will clear. The revenue is real. 6. At no point during the hurricane should any staff member attempt to reach the 15th floor on foot. There is no stairwell access. Do not attempt to create stairwell access. Do not use the maintenance ladder in the elevator shaft. The 15th floor is accessible only by invitation. 7. If a 15th floor guest invites you to their room, you may accept. This is your choice. We cannot advise you. We can only tell you that every staff member who has accepted an invitation has reported for their next shift on time and in apparent good health. We can also tell you that none of them still work here. 8. If the number of staff on the skeleton crew drops below 4 at any point during the hurricane, the 15th floor's checkout protocol changes. We do not know what it changes to. This has not happened. It must not happen. Below the typed rules, handwritten in blue ink, not Priya's. The guests are polite. They tip well. They know things about you that you haven't told them. This is not a threat. It is a service industry reality. They are attentive guests. Treat them as such. In black ink, also not Priya's. During Lyle, 2024, one guest requested a very specific wine that we did not stock. I told them we didn't have it. They accepted this gracefully. The wine appeared in our cellar the following week. It was a 1961 Bordeaux. It was real. We sold it for $4,200. The money was real. I don't know what to do with this information. In red ink, Priya's. During Lyle, Marcus Fletcher accepted an invitation. Rule 7. He came to his next shift. He worked the full night. He put in his 2 weeks the following Monday. I asked him what happened on 15 and he said, "They showed me what the hotel looks like from the inside." I asked him what that meant. He said, "You don't want to know, Priya. You really don't." He moved to Baton Rouge. He works at a Marriott. He won't return my calls. Priya lets us read. The wind is louder now. The lights flicker once the grid is starting to strain. Marco checks his phone and says the generator switchover is set to auto and should kick in within 4 seconds of a power loss. I have a question, Deshawn says. Go ahead. Rule 8 says we need to stay above 4. There are 7 of us. What would bring us below 4? Priya looks at him. Rule 7. The invitation. Yes. So 3 of us could accept invitations and we'd still be at 4. Correct. But no one is accepting any invitations. That's not a rule. That's me telling you as your manager that no one on this crew is going to the 15th floor. You can't actually stop us, Kai says. He says it quietly, not confrontationally. He says it the way you say a fact that everyone is thinking and no one wants to voice. Priya looks at him. No, she says. I can't. There it is. The thing that makes tonight different from a rule book. 7 people in a building with a force that is polite and generous and knows things about you and invites you upward, and the only thing between this crew and catastrophe is the willingness of each person to say no when the thing offers them something they want. And we all want something. That's why we're here. $400 storm bonus in a city where rent is $1,400 and gas is $3.89 and a po' boy costs $12 and nobody who works the front line of a New Orleans hotel is doing it because they're comfortable. We're here because we need the money. Every single one of us. And the thing upstairs knows that. The power goes out at 9:47 p.m. The generator kicks in at 9:51. 4 seconds, Marco said. It takes 4. 4 seconds of total darkness in a 14-story building during a hurricane, with rain hammering the windows like thrown gravel, and the wind hitting the east face of the hotel hard enough that I feel the building sway not structurally, not dangerously, but enough that my inner ear registers it and my stomach drops. In those 4 seconds, the elevator moves. I'm at the front desk. Priya is in the back office. Ruthie is on 4, securing a window that Marco reported was leaking. Deshaun and Kai are in the break room on 2. Marco is in the basement with the generator. Len is still at the lobby doors watching. In the dark, I hear the elevator cable sing. A high, taut hum, the sound of weight being moved vertically through the shaft. Then the generator catches and the lights stutter on, and the elevator display above the lobby doors shows the symbol, that not number, that glyph that looks like a 15 only if you squint and don't think about it too hard, and then it changes, descending, 14, 13, 12, all the way down to L. The doors open, the elevator is empty, but on the floor of the car, placed neatly in the center, is a room service menu. Our room service menu, the laminated card that sits in every guest room. Except this one is different. The items are the same. The Varro burger, the shrimp étouffée, the creme brulee, but the prices are wrong, not inflated or reduced, replaced. Where the burger should say $24, it says a date, September 14th, 1965. Where the étouffée should say $31, it says another date, August 29th, 2005. Hurricane Betsy, Hurricane Katrina. Every item on the menu is priced in disasters. I pick up the menu. On the back, handwritten in blue ink. The same blue ink from the annotations on the rules is a room service order. Room 1508, 2 étouffées, 1 bread pudding, 1 bottle of the Chateauneuf du Pape, 2019 if available. We are celebrating. I look at the menu for a long time. The phone rings. Front desk, this is Thea. Good evening, darling. We placed a room service order about 20 minutes ago. Just checking that it came through all right. The voice is a woman's, 60s maybe. The accent is local, deep New Orleans, uptownish, the kind of accent you hear less and less as the city gentrifies. It sounds like my grandmother sounded before she moved to Metairie. It sounds like home. Yes, ma'am, I have your order right here. Room 1508, 2 étouffées, 1 bread pudding, 1 bottle of Chateauneuf du Pape. That's us. Is the kitchen still running with the storm? The kitchen is empty. The kitchen staff evacuated 12 hours ago. There is no one in the kitchen, and there is no étouffée, and there is no bread pudding, and there is no Chateauneuf du Pape. We're operating on a limited storm menu tonight, ma'am. Let me check on that for you and call you back. Take your time, sweetheart. We're not going anywhere. She laughs. It is a warm, generous laugh. Lord knows nobody is in this weather. She hangs up. I stand at the front desk holding the receiver, and Priya is behind me. She came out of the back office during the call, and she's looking at me with the expression she always has during a hurricane, which is the expression of someone who has done this before and knows that the hard part isn't the storm. The hard part is the people you're doing it with. I'll handle the food, Ruthie says. She's come down from 4. She's standing in the lobby in her housekeeping uniform, arms folded, looking at the elevator. I can cook. You know I can cook. I'll make the étouffée. You don't have to do that, Priya says. Rule 3 says fulfill all reasonable requests. A couple wanting dinner during a hurricane is a reasonable request. I've been cooking étouffée since before this hotel had a kitchen. Ruthie is already moving toward the kitchen. Besides, they tip, right? The notes say they tip. Priya nods. They tip. Ruthie goes to the kitchen. I hear pots. I hear the walk-in cooler open. We keep it stocked during hurricanes for the skeleton crew. Within 15 minutes, the lobby smells like roux and shrimp and garlic and the particular alchemy of someone who learned to cook in a New Orleans kitchen and never needed a recipe. Priya stands beside me at the front desk. The phone is quiet. The wind screams. The elevator display is dark. The car is sitting at lobby level, waiting. How many guests? I ask. During Lyle, there were 8. During Zeta in 2020, the crew before mine said 12. It varies. And they all check out when the warning lifts? Every time. They come through the lobby with their luggage. They pay. They leave through the front door, into the storm usually, because the warning doesn't lift until the eye passes or the storm degrades. They walk out into the rain and they're gone. Where do they go? Priya looks at me. That question is how Marcus ended up on the 15th floor. I stop asking. Ruthie's etouffee goes into the elevator at 10:40 p.m. 2 covered plates, 1 bread pudding and a ramekin, a bottle of red that Marco found in the cellar, not the Chateauneuf du Pape, a Côte du Rhône, close enough. Ruthie arranges it on a room service tray with cloth napkins and proper silverware and a small vase with a fake flower from the lobby arrangement because, she says, presentation matters, storm or no storm. Deshaun carries the tray into the elevator. He sets it on the floor. He steps back. The doors close. The elevator ascends. We watch the display. L, 2, 3, up through the numbers, past 14, to the symbol. The elevator stays on 15 for about 3 minutes. Then it descends. When the doors open, the tray is on the floor. The plates are empty. The wine bottle is empty. The napkins are used and neatly folded. Under the vase is a $200 bill, not a tip, a bill. A $200 bill hasn't been printed since 1946. It features William Henry Harrison. It is crisp and clean and it looks real. Ruthie picks it up. She holds it to the light. Huh, she says. The phone rings again. Over the next 2 hours, the 15th floor calls 6 more times. Different voices each time. A man who wants extra pillows, 3, specifically firm, no feather. A woman who asks if the spa is open and, when told it's closed for the storm, laughs and says, of course, we'll manage. A young-sounding man who asks for a wake-up call at 6 a.m. and, when I tell him I'll set it, says, you're very kind, Thea. How long have you been at the Verreau? I don't remember telling him my name, but I'm wearing a name tag. Hotels have name tags. It's fine. 4 years, I say. 4 years. And before that? I was at the Monteleone. Beautiful property. You must miss the Carousel Bar. Sometimes. We have something similar up here, you know. Not a bar exactly, but something that turns. He pauses. You should see it sometime. Rule 7. That's what Rule 7 sounds like. Not a command, not a lure. A suggestion offered the way a good hotel guest suggests a restaurant casually, generously, with the implicit understanding that you'd enjoy it if you went. That's very kind, I say. Is there anything else I can help you with tonight? Just the wake-up call. 6 sharp. We want to see the eye. He hangs up. I mark the call in the log. 7 calls from 15. 7 different guests, at minimum. Priya's count during Lyle was 8. We might be at that already, or higher. I don't know. I'm not counting. Rule 6 from a different version of these rules that exists in my head says don't count, even though the actual rules don't say that, because the actual rules are written for the floor and not for us. And the thing I'm learning tonight is that the rules for us are the ones we have to write ourselves, in real time, based on what's happening. At 12:15 a.m., the first guest comes downstairs. I'm at the desk. Priya is in the back office on a call with Merit Hospitality in Dallas, giving them the standard storm update: building secure, generator running, no flooding, all systems nominal. She does not mention the 15th floor. She has never mentioned the 15th floor to Dallas. I know this because the Verreau's financial records include revenue from 15th floor stays, and Dallas has never questioned it. They see the line items: room charges, incidentals, tips, and they process them because the charge is clear and the money is real and corporate accounting does not ask where money comes from as long as it comes. The elevator doors open. A woman steps out. She's maybe 65, black dress, pearls, low heels. Her hair is set, not styled, set the way women of a certain generation in New Orleans have their hair set at a salon, with rollers and pins and the particular architectural precision that says this took 2 hours and a professional. She's carrying a clutch purse. She smells like jasmine and something older, something that I associate with the houses uptown. The ones on St. Charles with the wraparound porches, the ones that smell like old wood and wax and the accumulated botanical residue of a century of gardens. She walks to the front desk. She smiles at me. "Good evening, sweetheart. I'm sorry to bother you at this hour." "Not at all, ma'am. How can I help you?" "I left my reading glasses in the restaurant during dinner. I know, scatterbrained. Would you mind checking the dining room for me? They're tortoiseshell, in a blue case. We don't have a restaurant. The Varro has a dining room, but it's been closed for renovation since January. The space is gutted, no tables, no chairs, just exposed subflooring and plastic sheeting." "I'll check right now," I say. I walk to the dining room. I push open the door. The room is gutted, as expected. Plastic sheeting, subflooring, the smell of construction adhesive. I look around. On the floor, near where the hostess stand used to be, there is a blue glasses case. I pick it up. Inside are tortoiseshell reading glasses, clean, slightly warm, as if someone just took them off. I bring them back. She takes them with both hands. "Oh, wonderful. You're a lifesaver, Thea. Thank you." She touches my wrist. Her fingers are cool and dry and precise, the way old New Orleans women touch you briefly, with intention, a social gesture that is also an assessment. She is taking my temperature, not literally, socially. She is determining what I am. "You remind me of someone," she says. "A girl who worked here years ago, before the storm, the big one. She had your eyes. Serious eyes. The kind of eyes that see what's actually happening instead of what's supposed to be happening." "That's very kind." "It's not a compliment, darling. It's a diagnosis." She smiles. "The ones who see clearly are the ones who get invited. Be careful with those eyes." She walks back to the elevator. She presses the button. The doors open immediately. The car is still at lobby level. She steps in. The doors close. The display climbs to the symbol and holds. Behind me, Len speaks for the first time in 3 hours. "She knew your name. I'm wearing a tag. You took the tag off an hour ago. It was scratching your neck. I watched you put it in your pocket." I reach into my pocket. The name tag is there. I look at where it should be, on my blazer lapel. There's a small hole where the pin was. She knew my name without the tag. At 1 a.m., the hurricane makes landfall west of us, near Houma. The eastern eye wall is passing over the city. The wind is a physical presence now, not a sound but a force, a pressure against the building that I can feel in the floor. The rain is horizontal. The streetlights on Chartres are out, and through the lobby windows the French Quarter is a void, no light, no movement, just the sound of water and wind and, occasionally, the deep percussive bang of something being torn off something else. The generator is holding. Marco comes up from the basement at 1:15 and says we're at 73% fuel, which gives us about 18 more hours. Kai is sitting in the lobby with a cup of coffee that Ruthie made him. He's been quiet since the conference room. He's looking at the elevator. "Has anyone ever gone up and come back normal?" he asks. "Marcus came back," Priya says. "You said he quit." "He quit. He didn't die. He didn't change. He just left." "Why?" "Because he saw something that made working here impossible. But not something that hurt him. Not something that hurt him physically. No. Kai nods. He sips his coffee. He looks at the elevator. I watch him look at the elevator and I think about what he said in the conference room. You can't actually stop us. And I realize that Kai is not asking out of curiosity. Kai is running a calculation. Kai is 24 years old and makes $16 an hour and lives in an apartment in mid-city with 2 roommates and drives a car with 180,000 miles on it and is here tonight because $400 is his car insurance payment, and without it his registration lapses, and without registration he can't drive, and without driving he can't get to work, and without work he can't make rent, and the entire architecture of his life is a chain of obligations so tight that one missing link brings everything down. I know this because all of our architectures look like this. Every single person in this lobby is here because the money is the difference between stability and collapse. And the thing upstairs is polite, and it tips $200 in discontinued currency, and it knows your name, and it offers you something Rule 7 doesn't say what it offers, only that people who accept come back changed and leave. And Kai is looking at the elevator and doing math. Kai, I say, I'm not going to do anything. Good. I'm just thinking. Stop thinking. He looks at me, not with hostility, with the exhaustion of someone who has been thinking about money every waking moment for 4 years and is tired of it in a way that goes deeper than sleeplessness. You ever notice, he says, that the rules never say the 15th floor is dangerous? I open my mouth to respond, and the phone rings. Front desk, this is Thea. Hi, yes, I need to report a problem with my shower. Room 1504, the hot water isn't working. Male voice, 30s. The accent is neutral, placeless, the accent of someone who grew up everywhere or nowhere. I'm sorry about that, sir. Our maintenance engineer is on site. I can have him. I stop. Have him what? Go to the 15th floor? Send him into the elevator? Send him up if you could, the man says. It's a simple fix, I'm sure. Probably just the mixing valve. I'll have to check with my team and get back to you, sir. Can I put you on a brief hold? Of course. I put him on hold. I look at Priya. Priya looks at Marco. No, Priya says. I could fix a mixing valve blindfolded, Marco says. You're not going up there. The rules say we can accept invitations. This is a work request, not an invitation. It's my job. Rule 6 says no staff member should attempt to reach the 15th floor. Rule 7 is the exception. Personal invitations. A maintenance request is not a Rule 7 invitation. It's also not a Rule 6 attempt. I'm not attempting to reach the floor. The guest is requesting a service. I'm providing it. They're both right. The rules have a gap. The rules were written for a scenario where the 15th floor stays separate, where the guests stay up and the staff stays down, and the only interface is the elevator and the phone. But a maintenance request crosses that boundary. It asks a staff member to enter the space. And the rules don't explicitly cover it because the rules were written by people who, like all rule writers, couldn't anticipate every scenario. The rules don't say he can't go, Kai says from the lobby. The rules don't say a lot of things, Priya says. The rules say that if we drop below 4, the checkout protocol changes. We don't know what that means. I'm not finding out. Sending Marco up doesn't drop us below 4. There'd still be 6 of us down here. Unless he doesn't come back. Marcus came back. Marcus was invited. This is different. The phone line blinks. The guest is still holding. I pick up the receiver. Sir, I apologize. We're unable to send maintenance tonight due to the storm. I can offer extra towels and... Thea. His voice is different now. Not rude, not threatening, intimate. The way a friend talks when they're about to say something real. I understand. But I should tell you there are 11 of us up here tonight, and 3 of us are having the same issue. If the hot water is a building system problem, it's going to affect your regular floors too. Your engineer should probably look at the boiler regardless. He's right. If the mixing valves are failing on the 15th floor, they might be failing everywhere. The building shares a water system, one boiler, one circulation loop, 15 floors of plumbing that all tie back to the same mechanical room in the basement. The 15th floor's plumbing shouldn't exist, but it does. And if it's drawing from the same boiler, a failure up there could cascade down. I'll look into it, I say. Thank you for your patience. One more thing, Thea. Yes? Your colleague, the young man with the green jacket, Kai. He's been looking at our elevator for 2 hours. If he wants to come up, he should come up. The invitation is open. We could use some company. It gets lonely during the storm. He hangs up. I put the phone down. I look at Kai. He's not wearing a green jacket. He's wearing a black hoodie under his bellhop vest. But his car, parked in the garage 2 blocks away, has a green windbreaker on the passenger seat. I've seen it. He wears it when it rains. They're not looking at name tags. They're not reading us from the desk. They're reading us from somewhere deeper, somewhere that has access to the details of our lives that we carry without displaying. They know Kai's car. They know the jacket in his car. They know he's watching the elevator. And they've made it an open invitation, which means Rule 7 is active for Kai specifically, and there is nothing in the rules or in Priya's authority or in any of our relationships with each other that can stop him from accepting if he chooses to. At 2 a.m., 2 things happen simultaneously. First, the eye of Hurricane Margot passes close enough to New Orleans that the wind drops. Not completely, the eye is passing to the west, over Lafourche Parish, but the eastern edge of the calm catches the city. The rain thins, the pressure changes. My ears pop. Through the lobby windows, I can see the sky lighten from black to a dark, bruised gray. And for a moment, maybe 2 minutes, the city is almost quiet. Second, the elevator descends on its own. The display counts down from the symbol to L. The doors open. Inside the elevator, standing against the back wall, is a man I have never seen. He's about 40. He's wearing a suit, not a modern suit, something older, double-breasted, with wide lapels and a fabric that catches the lobby light in a way that suggests silk or something close to it. His shoes are two-toned. His hair is pomaded. He looks like a photograph from the 1940s that someone has pulled into 3 dimensions and animated. He steps out of the elevator and looks around the lobby the way a person looks around a room they built. Not with pride, with inventory, checking that everything is where it should be. "Good evening," he says to no one in particular and all of us specifically. He walks to the front desk. I'm standing behind it. He looks at me. "I'd like to extend our stay." "Sir, the storm is going to last longer than forecast. We'll need through Tuesday." Today is Thursday. The warning was expected to lift by Saturday. "I'd like to reserve the floor through Tuesday." "I'll need to check availability." "You have availability. The hotel is empty." He smiles. It's a real smile. Not sequenced, not mechanical. Warm, creased. The smile of a man who finds the formalities charming rather than necessary. "Process the reservation normally. Standard rate. I'll pay for all occupied rooms." I look at the screen. I don't have a 15th floor in our booking system. I've never had a 15th floor. The Vero's PMS property management system for the non-hotel people tops out at 14. But when I look at the screen right now, there's a tab I've never seen. It says floor 15 and it has 12 rooms listed, 1501 through 1512. 11 are occupied. 1507 is vacant. "How many nights?" I ask, because I'm in hospitality and the training runs deep even when the situation doesn't. 4. Thursday through Monday. Check out Tuesday morning. I process the reservation. The system accepts it. The rate populates automatically, $450 per room per night, which is our hurricane rate, which is the rate we charge when demand peaks during evacuations because this is America and even emergencies have a market price. 11 rooms times 4 nights times $450 is $19,800. The man places a credit card on the counter. It's black. Not black like a premium card, black like the material itself is black, as if the card is made of something that doesn't reflect light. The name on the card is embossed in silver, the Verreau Group, the Verreau family, the original owners, the sugar and cotton family who built this hotel in 1927 and lost it in 1968. I run the card. It authorizes. "Thank you, Thea," the man says. "One more thing. The gentleman in room 1507, the vacant room, is arriving later tonight. He'll need a late check-in. Please have a key ready." "Who is the guest?" "He hasn't decided yet." The man glances toward the lobby, toward the couch where Kai is sitting. "But he will." He walks back to the elevator. The doors open. He steps in. The doors close. The display climbs. The room erupts. Not yelling, everybody talking at the same time, which in a group of 7 people in a stressful situation sounds like an engine trying to turn over. Deshawn is asking Priya what the checkout protocol change is. Priya is telling him she doesn't know. Marco is asking about the boiler, which is a real problem regardless of the 15th floor. Ruthie is standing by the kitchen door with her arms folded, watching all of us, saying nothing. Len is at the lobby doors, saying nothing, and Kai is on the couch, saying nothing, looking at the elevator with an expression that I can only describe as hungry. "We need to talk about this," I say. "There's nothing to talk about," Priya says. "We follow the rules. We stay down here. We wait for the warning to lift." The man said Tuesday. That's 4 more days. We have supplies for a week, generator fuel for 18 hours, then we switch to city power if the grid comes back. And if the grid doesn't come back, then we have 18 hours. And if the 15th floor is drawing power from our generator? Everyone looks at Marco. Marco looks at the ceiling. "I can check the load," he says. "If there is a parasitic draw from above 14, I'll see it in the panel readings." "Do it," Priya says. Marco heads for the basement. Deshawn follows him buddy system, an unspoken rule that has emerged in the last hour. Nobody goes anywhere alone. That leaves 5 of us in the lobby. Priya, me, Ruthie, Len, Kai. The wind is picking up again. The eye has passed. The back half of the hurricane is arriving. The rain returns, heavier than before. The building groans. Kai stands up. "I'm going to go for a walk," he says. "No," Priya says. "Around the 2nd floor, just to stretch my legs." "Stay in the lobby." "Priya, I'm not a prisoner. You're an employee and I'm your manager and I'm telling you to stay in the lobby." Kai looks at her. He looks at me. He looks at Ruthie. He sits back down. But his eyes go to the elevator and they stay there, and I watch them stay there. And I think about what the man said he hasn't decided yet, but he will. And I realize that the threat tonight isn't the 15th floor. The 15th floor is polite. The 15th floor tips well. The 15th floor processes credit cards and requests wake-up calls and loses reading glasses in restaurants. The threat is the gap between what each of us needs and what each of us can stand, and the 15th floor is measuring that gap in every person in this building and waiting for someone's gap to get wide enough to step through. At 3:30 a.m., Ruthie comes to me in the back office. She closes the door. She sits down across from the desk. "I need to tell you something," she says. "And I need you to not tell Priya." "Okay." "I was here for Katrina. Not at the Verreau, it was apartments then. I was here in the quarter. I stayed. A lot of us stayed. You know that. The ones who couldn't leave, the ones who wouldn't leave, The ones who didn't believe it was going to be as bad as it was. I know. After the levees broke, the quarter didn't flood. You know that too. Highest ground in the city. But the quarter got bad in other ways. No power, no water, no law. People breaking into buildings, people dying in the heat, people doing things they wouldn't do if the city was watching. She folds her hands. I was in this building, the apartments, 3rd floor, and during the worst of it the second night, when nobody was coming and nobody was helping and the Superdome was a nightmare and the convention center was worse during the worst of it, I went to the roof. I wanted to see how bad it was. And when I got to the roof, there was a floor above me that wasn't there before. The 15th floor. It wasn't the 15th then. The building was only 5 stories as apartments. It was a 6th floor. Same thing though. Same feeling. The air was different up there, cooler, cleaner, like the storm couldn't touch it. And there were people on that floor. I could hear them through the ceiling, having dinner, laughing, glasses clinking. In the middle of Katrina, in the middle of the worst disaster this city has ever seen, there were people above me having a party. Did they invite you? A woman came down. She was old, very old, dressed beautifully. She said, "Ruthie, come upstairs. We have food and water and the air conditioning works." And I almost went. I almost went because I was 62 years old and it was 105 degrees and I hadn't eaten in 2 days and the city was drowning. What stopped you? Ruthie looks at me. Her eyes are steady and clear and hard in a way that 11 years at the Varro have not softened. She called me by name, and I had never met her. And the food smelled like my mother's food. Not like New Orleans food, like my specific mother's specific cooking. Red beans the way my mother made them, with the pickled pork, on a Monday, the way she did every Monday until she died in 1998. Nobody cooks them like that. Nobody. That recipe is in my mother's grave. She unfolds her hands. She places them flat on the desk. They don't just know your name, Thea. They know your hunger. They know the specific shape of the hole inside you, and they fill it with exactly the thing that fits. And the thing that fits is always real. That's what Marcus saw. That's what he couldn't live with. Not that it was fake, that it was real, and it was only available if you stayed, and you could never come back down and be satisfied with what was down here. So it's not dangerous. Oh, it's the most dangerous thing in this city, because it's better. The 15th floor is better than every other floor. The food is better, the air is better, the people are better, the life is better. And it's yours if you want it. All you have to do is go up and not come back down. Marcus came back down. Marcus came back down and couldn't eat, couldn't sleep, couldn't look at this hotel without seeing what was above it. He told Priya it was something he saw. That's not what it was. It was something he tasted, and everything after it tasted like nothing. She stands up. She straightens her uniform. She looks at the door. Kai is going to go up, she says. You know it and I know it. He's 24 and he makes $16 an hour and his car is dying and his rent is late and someone just offered him a room in a place where everything is better and nobody's keeping score. You can't stop that with a rule on a piece of paper. What do I do? You make sure there are still 4 of us when he goes. She leaves. I sit in the back office and I listen to the hurricane. And I think about what she said, and I think about Kai, and I think about Rule 8. If the number drops below 4, the checkout protocol changes, and I try to do the math. 7 minus Kai is 6. 6 is above 4. Kai can go and we hold, unless someone else goes. Unless the invitations keep coming, tailored to each of us, shaped exactly to the hole inside each person, and one by one the 15th floor peels us away until there aren't enough left to manage whatever happens when the guests check out. The phone rings. Front desk. Good evening. This is room 1503. I understand you have an engineer on staff tonight. Marco, is it? We're having a wonderful conversation up here about the building's original mechanical systems, the 1927 boiler specifications, the pneumatic tube system that used to connect the floors, the original Otis elevator mechanism. Marco would find it fascinating. We have the original blueprints. I'll pass along the message, sir. Please do. And Thea Ruthie's étouffée was extraordinary. She has a gift. Tell her she's welcome any time. We have a kitchen up here that she would love. Professional grade, the kind she deserves. He hangs up. Each call is a targeted invitation now. Marco's curiosity about the building's mechanical history. Ruthie's cooking. They're not casting a wide net. They're fishing with precision, one lure per person, each one designed for the specific appetite. I don't tell Marco. I don't tell Ruthie. I hold the messages like grenades with the pins still in. At 4:15 a.m., the power fluctuates. The lights dim, brighten, dim again. Marco calls from the basement on the house phone. The generator is showing an unexplained load increase. Something above the 14th floor is drawing power. Significant power enough to run a full floor of hotel rooms, including HVAC, lighting, and what appears to be a commercial kitchen. I need to isolate the feed, Marco says. If I don't, the generator runs dry in 12 hours instead of 18. Can you isolate it from the basement? No. The feed isn't in our electrical panel. It's not in any panel I can find. The power is being drawn through the elevator shaft conduit, which means the junction is somewhere above 14. Somewhere on the 15th floor. Don't go up there, I say. Thea, if we lose the generator, we lose refrigeration, we lose the sump pumps, and the basement floods. If the basement floods, we lose the generator permanently. If we lose the generator and the grid is down, this building goes dark in the middle of a Category 3 hurricane with 7 people inside. 6, Kai says. He's standing in the doorway of the back office. I don't know how long he's been there. There'll be 6 of you. Kai, I'm going up. I've decided. The room contracts. I feel it, not the building, the social space. The air between all of us gets denser, heavier, the way a conversation gets heavy when someone says the thing everyone's been avoiding. Priya comes out of the back office. She looks at Kai. Her face is controlled, professional, managerial. But her hands are in her pockets and I can see the fabric moving where her fingers are. If you go up, she says, you are making a personal choice. The hotel is not responsible. I know. You may not be able to come back down the same way. Marcus did. Marcus was a different person afterward. He lost something or gained something. Either way, he couldn't stay. Maybe that's not the worst thing. Maybe the worst thing is staying down here making $16 an hour until the building falls down or the city floods again or my car finally dies on the I-10 and I'm just another guy on the shoulder waiting for a tow I can't afford. He's not wrong. That's the cruelest part. He is describing the actual trajectory of his life with perfect accuracy, and the 15th floor is offering an alternative. And the alternative is real, the money is real, the wine is real, the food is real, the blueprints are real. Every material thing that comes down from the 15th floor is verifiable, tangible, present. The 15th floor is not a trick. It's an upgrade. And the only price is that you can't come back down and feel okay about the lobby. I'm going, Kai says. He walks to the elevator. He presses the button. The doors open. The car is empty and lit and clean. He steps in. He turns around. He looks at us, at me, at Priya, at Deshawn, who has come up from the basement, at Ruthie, who is standing in the kitchen doorway, at Len, who is still at the lobby doors, at Marco, who is on the house phone listening. If it's bad, I'll come back down, Kai says. And if it's good? Deshawn asks. Kai smiles. It's not a desperate smile. It's not a doomed smile. It's the smile of a 24-year-old who is making the first significant choice of his life that isn't dictated by a bill or a deadline or a manager. Then I'll come back down and tell you. The doors close. The display climbs, past 14, to the symbol. We are 6. 40 minutes pass. Kai does not come back down. The phone does not ring. The elevator stays on 15. At 5 a.m. it descends. The doors open. Kai is inside. He's standing straight, hands at his sides, and I don't know how to say this, he's clearer. Not changed. Clearer. Like a photograph that was slightly out of focus and someone adjusted the lens. The same Kai, the same face, same body, same black hoodie. But the exhaustion is gone. The particular gray that lives under the skin of every person who is running financial calculations in their sleep has lifted. He looks rested. He looks fed. He looks like a person who has been given something he needed and is carrying it carefully back into a world that doesn't have enough of it. What happened? Deshawn asks. They gave me dinner. We talked. They asked about my engineering courses. One of them, the woman with the pearls she used to teach structural engineering at Tulane, in the 50s. She showed me calculations I've never seen. Load-bearing techniques for buildings and flood zones. She said she could teach me more. Are you going back up? Priya asks. Her voice is flat, controlled, managerial. Not tonight. She said I'm welcome anytime there's a warning. And that's it? Dinner and a conversation? And this. He reaches into his hoodie pocket and pulls out an envelope. He opens it. Inside is a check, a real check, printed on heavy stock, drawn on a bank I don't recognize. The amount is $12,000. The memo line says, Scholarship, Delgado Community College Engineering Program. It's real, Kai says. I checked. The routing number is valid. The account exists. We all look at the check. $12,000. Almost a full year at Delgado. More money than Kai makes in 6 months at the Vero after taxes. They're buying you, Priya says. They're investing in me, Kai says. There's a difference. There isn't. Priya, with respect, you've been managing this floor for 11 years. You've watched people go up and come back and leave. And the hotel keeps taking their money, and Dallas keeps cashing the checks, and nobody asks where the revenue comes from. You're already bought. We all are. I'm just the only one who went upstairs and sat at the table. Priya says nothing. Kai sits down on the lobby couch. He puts the check in his pocket. Deshawn looks at him, then at the elevator, then at Priya. And the calculation that was previously happening only behind Kai's eyes is now happening behind Deshawn's. We are still 6. But the composition has changed. The hurricane roars through the back half of the night. The building holds, the generator holds, the sump pumps hold, the 15th floor draws power quietly, steadily, and Marco cannot isolate the feed because the feed is not electrical in any way he can trace. At 6 a.m. the wake-up call, the one I set at the house phone, rings on every floor simultaneously. Every handset in the building rings at once. I pick up at the front desk. Good morning, Vero Hotel. This is your 6 o'clock wake-up call. The eye has passed. The storm continues. Checkout has been extended to Tuesday. We hope you enjoy your stay. It's my voice. The recording is my voice. I didn't record it. I didn't set an automated wake-up call. But the voice on the line is mine. My cadence, my pronunciation, the way I say Vero, with the slight French emphasis that Priya trained into me during my first week. They have my voice now, not because I gave it to them, because I answered the phone. because I've been answering the phone all night, speaking to them, giving them my name and my cadence and my professional courtesy, and they have recorded me the way a hotel records a greeting, and now my voice is part of the building. I put the phone down. I look at Priya. This is what happens, Priya says. Every hurricane. They take a little more. Not people pieces. A voice, a recipe, a name, an engineering technique. They collect the best parts of whoever stays, and they bring those parts upstairs and they keep them. And in exchange, they pay. They always pay. What are they building up there? A better hotel, Priya says. She sits down behind the front desk, in the chair I usually sit in, and she looks older than I've ever seen her. A perfect hotel, staffed by the best of everyone who's ever worked here. My efficiency, Ruthie's cooking, Marcus's maintenance knowledge, your voice. They're building the Vero as it should be, as it was supposed to be, maybe. Before the family lost the money and the building was sold and the city flooded and everything got cheap and tired and understaffed. That doesn't sound so bad. It's not bad. That's the problem. It's not bad, and it's not good, and it's not anything you can fight, because fighting it means fighting a version of this place that treats people better than we do. They pay their staff better. They feed their guests better. They maintain the building better. Every system we struggle with down here, the budget, the staffing, the deferred maintenance, the corporate indifference, they've solved. They've solved it by taking from us, but they've solved it. So what do? Priya looks at me. We stay open. We answer the phones. We process the charges. And every hurricane, we lose a little more, and they gain a little more. And the 15th floor gets a little more real, and eventually, Ruthie told me this years ago, eventually the 15th floor won't need the hurricane to appear. It'll just be here, all the time. A permanent floor, fully staffed, fully operational, running the version of this hotel that the city deserves. And us, we'll still be down here, doing what we do, making what we make, running the 14 floors that aren't good enough. It's 7 a.m. now. The storm is still overhead. The warning is still active. The 15th floor is still here. The elevator display shows the symbol, steady, patient. Kai has fallen asleep on the couch with $12,000 in his pocket. Deshaun is in the break room, on his phone, not texting anyone, just holding it, the way people hold phones when they need to touch something from their real life. Marco is in the basement. Ruthie is in the kitchen cooking breakfast for 6 because that's what Ruthie does. She feeds people, regardless of context, regardless of crisis, because feeding people is the thing that makes Ruthie Ruthie. Len is at the lobby doors. He hasn't spoken since 12:15 a.m. He hasn't moved. He's watching the street, which is 6 inches of standing water and debris and the occasional palm frond cartwheeling past in the wind. I go stand beside him. You've been quiet, I say. I've been listening. To what? To the building. He pauses. Len is 60, former NOPD, took the security job after his pension didn't cover his wife's medical bills. He is the most still person I have ever met. The building is breathing. Can you hear it? Not the wind, not the generator, the building itself. It's breathing. I listen. Under the wind, under the rain, under the mechanical hum of the generator, there is a rhythm. A low, slow, organic rhythm, like the inhale and exhale of something massive. The building settling, the building adjusting, the building making room. It's growing, Len says. The floor isn't appearing. The building is growing it like a limb, like a tooth. The hurricane is the pressure, and the building responds the way a body responds to pressure. It produces what it needs. Len, have they invited you? He doesn't answer for a long time. Then, they don't need to invite me. I'm already here. I've been here for 9 years. I know every inch of this building from the basement to the roof, and the building knows me. The 15th floor isn't strangers, Thea. The 15th floor is everyone who's ever given something to this place and had it taken upstairs. My patients, Marco's hands, Ruthie's recipes, Priya's systems. We're already up there. Copies of us. Working. Running the hotel we wish we worked in. That can't be true. Go look at the 15th floor and tell me I'm wrong. I'm not going up there. Then you'll never know. And not knowing is its own kind of staying. He turns back to the doors. I stand beside him and I listen to the building breathe, and I look at the elevator display, and the symbol is steady, and the storm is overhead, and the 15th floor is here, populated by ghosts of our competence, running the hotel we can't afford to be. At noon, something happens that changes everything. Priya gets a call, not from the 15th floor, from Dallas, from Merit Hospitality Partners, from the ownership group. I hear her on the phone in the back office. Her voice changes. It goes from Priya who runs the Vero to Priya who reports to corporate, which is a flatter, more careful voice, the voice of a woman who knows that her job depends on people 4 states away who have never stood in this lobby during a hurricane. The call lasts 8 minutes. She comes out. Her face is white. Dallas is selling the Vero, she says. The deal closes in 60 days. New ownership group out of Miami. They're planning a full renovation, gut the building, reopen as a boutique luxury brand. Silence. We all know what this means. New ownership means new staff. Gut renovation means we're all out, not just reassigned, eliminated. 6 months of unemployment while they tear the building apart and rebuild it for tourists who'll pay $600 a night for exposed brick and a cocktail bar. All of us? Deshawn asks. All of us. The timing. The 15th floor appears during hurricanes. Dallas is selling the hotel. In 60 days, there will be no skeleton crew, no Priya, no rules, no one to answer the phones when the guests call down. The 15th floor will arrive during the next hurricane, and there will be nobody here, unless the 15th floor doesn't need us anymore. Unless the 15th floor has been building towards self-sufficiency this whole time, collecting voices and recipes and maintenance knowledge and managerial systems, precisely so that when the living staff is finally eliminated by economics, the floor can run itself. Priya is looking at the elevator. She's not looking at it the way Kai was with hunger. She's looking at it with recognition. The look of a woman who has been managing a system for 11 years and has just realized that the system was managing her. Every hurricane, she says quietly to me. Every hurricane, they took a little more. Every time I thought they were collecting, archiving, building a library. But they weren't collecting. They were training. They were building a staff, and now that the living staff is being eliminated, they're ready. They're ready. The elevator descends. The doors open. The woman with the pearls is standing inside. She looks at Priya. She looks at me. She looks at all of us, one by one, with the patient, thorough attention of a general manager reviewing her team. We've heard about the sale, she says. We'd like to discuss the transition. What happens next is not something I can fully describe because it happens to all of us simultaneously and differently. The woman, her name, she tells us, is Marguerite Vero. And yes, the hurricane shares her name. And no, that is not a coincidence. Marguerite steps out of the elevator and walks into the conference room and sits at the head of the table and waits. We follow, all of us, even Len. She lays out the situation with the clarity of someone who has been planning for this moment for decades. The Vero family built this hotel in 1927. The family lost it. The building has been trying to get back to what it was, not the physical structure, the standard of care, of hospitality, of the fundamental contract between a hotel and its guests, which is, you are welcome here, and we will take care of you. and the care we provide will be worthy of the trust you place in us. The 15th floor is that standard, maintained, perfected, sustained through every hurricane and every sale and every renovation, and every corporate owner who treated the building as an asset rather than a home. The guests on the 15th floor are the Verreau family, and they're circled dead, yes, but present, the way the dead in New Orleans have always been present, which is to say actively, socially, with opinions and appetites and a fierce attachment to the places they built. The new owners will gut the building, Marguerite says. They'll remove the original plaster, they'll replace the elevator, they'll pour new concrete over the shaft, and the 15th floor will have no mechanism to manifest. We will be sealed out of our own hotel. What do you want from us? Priya asks. We want you to come upstairs, all of you, not as guests, as staff, permanent staff. The 15th floor can sustain itself during hurricanes, but if the building is renovated, we'll need to manifest independently of the weather. We'll need people who know the systems, who know the guests, who know how to run a hotel from the inside. You're offering us jobs, Marco says. I'm offering you the version of this job that you deserve. Full salary, real salary, not the scraps Dallas pays you. Benefits, housing in the building. The work you already do, done in a place that values it. Except we'd be dead, Ruthie says. Marguerite looks at her. You'd be permanent. There's a difference. No, there isn't. Ruthie, you've been cooking for this hotel for 17 years. When the new owners come in, they'll replace you with a contract kitchen that heats frozen portions in a combi oven. Your etouffee, your gumbo, your Monday red beans gone. Not because they're not good enough, because they're too expensive, because caring about food the way you care costs more than not caring, and the market rewards not caring. Ruthie is quiet. I'm not offering you death, Marguerite says. I'm offering you tenure. The word hits different in a room full of at-will employees who can be fired for any reason with 2 weeks' notice. Tenure, permanence, the guarantee that the thing you do and the way you do it will continue to matter after the market decides it's not profitable. I'm going to tell you what each person does, because this is where the story stops being mine and becomes ours. Kai doesn't hesitate. He stands, takes the check from his pocket, places it on the table, and says, I'm in. I was in before you asked. He walks to the elevator. He gets in. The doors close. Deshawn watches Kai go. He's quiet for a long time. Then he says, My mom's in Gentilly. She won't know where I am. Marguerite says, She'll know. We send letters. They arrive during storms. Deshawn nods. He stands. He follows Kai. Marco looks at Priya. Priya looks at Marco. They've worked together for 9 years. There is a conversation happening in the space between their eyes that I cannot hear. And when it's over, Marco stands and says, I'm not leaving the boiler to a combi oven kitchen, which doesn't make sense as a sentence but makes perfect sense as a decision. He goes. Ruthie looks at me. Thea. Yeah, I'm staying down here. Somebody needs to be at the desk when the new owners come. Somebody needs to hand them the envelope. Ruthie, the new owners? The new owners will hire staff, and the staff will be here during a hurricane, and somebody needs to explain the rules, and it needs to be someone who's done it before, and it needs to be someone who said no. Because if everyone who knows the rules goes upstairs, the rules die, and the 15th floor becomes a secret instead of a system. She's right. The rules survive only if someone who understands them stays behind to pass them on. The 15th floor can persist forever, but it can only be navigated safely if there are people on the lower floors who know what they're dealing with. I'll stay too, I say. Ruthie nods. She doesn't thank me. We don't have that kind of relationship. We have the kind of relationship where 2 women in a hotel lobby at noon during a hurricane look at each other and know what needs to happen and don't need to make it sentimental. Len is still at the lobby doors. He hasn't turned around during the entire conversation. Marguerite walks to him. She stands beside him the way I stood beside him earlier, shoulder to shoulder, looking out at the drowned street. "Leonard," she says. "Marguerite." They know each other. They've always known each other. 9 years Len has been in this building, standing at the doors, watching. Not because he's a security guard, because he's been waiting for this. Because Len knew about the 15th floor before Priya did, before any of us did. And his silence wasn't absence. It was patience. "Time to come home," she says. Len nods. He turns around. He looks at me and Ruthie and he does something I've never seen him do. He smiles. It's a small smile. A tired smile. The smile of a man who has been standing at a door for 9 years waiting for it to open. He walks to the elevator. He gets in. The doors close. We are two. The hurricane passes. The warning lifts Tuesday morning, just as the man in the suit predicted. The wind dies. The rain stops. The sun comes out over the quarter, and the streets are flooded and the power is out, and the city begins again the process of surviving what nature and infrastructure and economics and history keep doing to it. The 15th floor checks out. They come through the lobby, not Kai, not Deshawn, not Marco, not Len, but the original guests, the Varro family and their circle, 11 of them, with luggage and smiles and the particular satisfied exhaustion of people ending a good stay. They settle their bills at the front desk. I process each one. The credit card authorizes. The revenue is real, $19,800 plus incidentals. Marguerite is the last to leave. She places a key on the counter, a brass key, old, not a key card. It's warm. "For 1507, she says, in case anyone asks. Nobody asked for 1507. Nobody asked yet. She looks at me. You chose to stay. That's rare. Most people who understand the 15th floor either go up or they leave the hotel entirely. You're the first one who's chosen to stay down here knowing what's above you. Someone has to run the desk." "Yes, someone does." She puts on her gloves. Kid leather, the color of cream. When the new owners come, they'll renovate. They'll seal the shaft. They'll think they've made the building modern and clean and efficient. But the 15th floor isn't in the shaft, Thea. It's in the building. It's in the plaster and the wood and the foundation. You can seal the elevator, but you can't seal the hotel's memory of what it's supposed to be. Will it come back? It always comes back. The building grows what it needs when the pressure comes. All it needs is someone at the desk to answer the phone. She walks out the front door, into the sun, into the flooded street. Her shoes don't make a splash. She turns the corner onto Chartres and she's gone. It's 3 weeks later. The renovation crews are already measuring. The new owners, Seacliff Properties, Miami, are tearing out the lobby this month. The elevator is being replaced in June. My position is being eliminated in August. Ruthie retired. She took it voluntary, took the payout, went to live with her daughter in Thibodaux. Before she left, she handed me the envelope. Inside is the rules sheet, updated in her handwriting with everything that happened during Margot. She added 3 new annotations: Kai Okafor, Deshawn Myers, Marco Restrepo, and Leonard Worthy transitioned to permanent 15th floor staff during Hurricane Margot. They are no longer available for regular scheduling. Update the roster accordingly. The guests are not ghosts. They are residents. Treat them as such. The 15th floor will return. It does not need the elevator. It does not need the shaft. It needs the hotel, and it needs the desk, and it needs someone who answers the phone when it rings. Be that person. Be that person even when they tell you there are only 14 floors. Be that person especially then. I put the envelope in my bag. I go to work. I sit at the front desk and I smile at the Seacliff project managers and I answer their questions about the building systems, and I do not mention the 15th floor. But the key is in my desk drawer. Room 1507. Brass, warm, old. And sometimes when the barometric pressure drops and the sky over the quarter goes gray, and the weather band on the office radio starts talking about tropical development in the Gulf. Sometimes I feel the building breathe. That low, slow rhythm. Inhale, exhale. The hotel remembering what it's supposed to be. The new elevator is going in next month. 14 floors. No symbol on the display. But the building is older than the elevator. The building is older than the owners. The building remembers the Varro family and their standard and their dead and their beautiful, permanent, impossible 15th floor. And when the next hurricane comes, and the next hurricane always comes, this is New Orleans, the next hurricane always comes, the building will grow what it needs, the way it always has. And I'll be at the desk. I'll answer the phone. I'll say, "Front desk, this is Thea." And the voice on the other end will be polite and warm, and it will know my name, and it will ask for something reasonable, and I will provide it because that is what I do. That is what this hotel does. 14 floors for the living. One more for the standard we can't afford but refuse to forget. The guests are checking in. The storm is coming. The building is breathing. I have the key to 1507. I have the rules in my bag. I have a job that ends in August and a building that will outlast every owner who's ever held the deed. Someone has to be at the desk. I'm at the desk.